Have you ever been afraid to say something because of how someone may react? You're afraid of their anger, you're afraid of the backlash, um, all of that stuff, and so you choose to remain silent. Let me tell you that you're not alone. You're actually in pretty good company because there are so many people like that. I have done that a lot of times. You have people like my clients who have done that a lot of times and for different reasons too, and some of them are actually pretty valid reasons. Like, I've had clients who have decided to stay quiet because they are afraid of the financial implications, they are afraid of the reputation implications, and it doesn't matter if they know for certain or not. They fear what will happen, they fear being rejected, they fear being judged, they fear being abandoned, etc. And I feel like there is so much more beyond that fear though, right? Like, because walking in that fear causes us to sacrifice who we truly are at our core. That's what I call, or my pink flamingo selves. And so, as someone who is committed to walking as your true self and not letting your fear of rejection, abandonment, or judgment win, the question becomes, how do you overcome that fear? And one of the things that has given me a lot of confidence is when I know that me speaking up is the kindest thing I can do for myself and do to another person. Like, this is God's best for us, right? And it's when I know that, then even if my voice is shaky, I am still speaking up. Even if I am not sure what the outcome will be, I am still speaking up. And have I lost friends? Have people painted me as the villain? Yes, that has happened. And yet, there have been times as well where me speaking up, people have thanked me. People have said that, yo, this is a thing that I needed to hear, and thank you for speaking up, right? I have had relationships that we become closer together. I have had leaders who have said to me, "Hey, thank you so much for showing up here." And so I wanted to paint a picture of what is possible for you beyond the fear, right? I've had people who got upset with me in the moment, but then they go off and reflect, and probably even years later come back and be like, you know what, Chanel, you were totally right here. And this isn't just happening with me. You see this with my clients. Like, you see this in the Bible where Jesus did showed up as his real self and he spoke up against the Pharisees. They killed him for it. Right? And then Jesus, when his best friend tried to rebuke him for what he had said about where he was headed to, like what his purpose on earth was, Jesus rebuked his friend. Like, he rebuked Peter, right? And we see his friend go on to do such great things for the gospel. We see it in the story of Joseph, where Joseph knew that rejecting saying no to his master's wife, which was him honoring her and being kind to her, would probably piss her off, right? And truth be said, she was pissed off, right? And so the thing that he chose to do that honored him, honored his master's wife, and honored Potiphar himself, ended up with him being in prison for it. But I think the beautiful thing about Jesus' story, and the beautiful thing about my story, and the beautiful thing about my clients' stories, and the beautiful thing about Joseph's story is that it doesn't end there. Because what felt like, a reaction, like persons reacting to what was said or what was done, was actually in full alignment with God's plan. Because that's the thing, when we do God's best for us and another person, we don't lose. right? And so that's the thing that I want to encourage you today. Like, do not let your fear of someone's reaction stop you from speaking up when you know that this is a thing that God has placed on your heart, right? Because man, it is the best thing you could ever do for yourself and for another person. It is the best way to show up as your truest self, is to walk in alignment with what God has said for you to do. And I mean, if you're not sure how to know, if you really want to get beyond your feelings and be clear that this is a thing that God is saying, like, join us in the Pink Flamingo University, because that's one of the pillars here, so that you're not reacting, you're not showing up in this world from a place of reactivity where your feelings are running you, or you're not showing up from a place of, setting boundaries because you're trying to protect yourself, even though it means you're cutting off yourselves from the thing that God has for you. And you're not taking action because you're not sure whether this is actually true love, or you're continuing to people please, or you're leaning down into selfishness. So you can apply for the Pink Flamingo University below. But my encouragement to you, my Pink Flamingo friend, like, if you're truly committed to being your truest self, the best version of yourself that you can be is your God aligned self. And one of the ways that you do that is not letting your fear of rejection, or your fear of being judged, or your fear of abandonment stop you from speaking up in the moments when you know to your heart that God is telling you that your voice is needed here. Don't be silent because of what you fear they'll do. Speak up and then watch God move.